Hey, what's going on, everybody? John Corey, LCDC3 and student nurse here. In today's topic, we're going to take a look at anxiety because it's a big topic. You know, I think it's over 70% of our country deals with an unhealthy level of anxiety, and it's something that you can really make a foothold in. So I wanted to start by taking a look at how anxiety is actually a healthy mechanism in our body. It motivates us to go toward our goals, to go toward the things we want, and it's just there's 4 different levels of anxiety, and we really need to manage when anxiety gets too much because it can create a panic. When I know a lot of people have felt that. I've felt it, where you can't breathe, you almost feel like you're having a heart attack, you start sweating, and a lot of things can provoke this. But by learning how to keep it from going to panic level into what we call mild anxiety, it's actually very motivating. It helps us to really function better throughout the day because we know that there's things we need to get done, and that anxiety about getting them done, while we achieve it, we're actually more motivated, we're more focused, and we're more on task because we know that if we put it off, if we don't get to that task and knock it out with our best potential, it's going to set us back and give us kind of a panic in the back of our minds. So very important to remember that as our anxiety gets that mild, we get this increase in performance. Now, the real key is to not let that anxiety progress to the panic level where we completely lose all functioning, our body, we can't focus, we can't really get in touch with the things that help us to focus and stay present. All right, so crippling anxiety is a big problem in our society. It is something that completely takes us away from the present moment. I know I've had this where you can't breathe, you can't think, you're absolutely torn in a million different ways. And what's so interesting is they've done study after study, and they know that we live in a society that is very anxiety provoking. There's constantly, we're checking our phones, we're on the internet, we're at things that are bringing us away from that present moment. And when we're away from our present moment, we're actually most likely to be anxious because we're not here, we're not in our bodies, we're not thinking for ourselves in the natural moment. And things like social media, things like just the internet in general, it's always pulling our attention to the next thought, the next idea, the next topic. And when you let that happen, it's almost like your brain gets so stretched out. You need to really bring it back and focus on these things. The biggest classic sign of an anxiety attack is a feeling of impending doom. Now, this has been studied very closely, and they know, like I said previously, it's very common. This happens when we're pulled away from our present thought and in the present moment. And this very much is compounded by all of the things going on in our life. And we're going to go through some strategies now to tackle that anxiety. So first and foremost is you need to think about what in your life right now needs prioritized, whether it's bills need paid, whether it's a toxic relationship, whether it's something in your life that is constantly plaguing your thoughts. It's changing that inner voice in your head to be more of a negatively programmed mechanism. You have to recognize that. So, as I always stress to everybody who I know, and clients especially, journaling about what's going on, that inner voice in your head. What are your most concerning elements in your life right now? Because if you can identify those, if you can not only identify, but realize that when they are present, when they are at the forefront of your brain, how they make you feel. Do they make you happy? Do they make you sad? Do they make you nervous? These things can very much be the propellers of the anxiety mechanism. So, to really manage this is one, we got to get journaling on. So journaling, meditation, you know what I do when I feel anxiety attacks, being through school and work right now, it's absolutely overwhelming at times. I sit there, and in my mindfulness video, I talk about this a lot. I just try and breathe deeply into my stomach. I put my 2 fingers to my heart rate and my neck, and I just listen to my heartbeat. And I can even feel it now. It goes from racing to very much slowing down as I focus on breathing and just focus on being present and in the moment. So very much meditation, mindfulness, absolute keys to beating and dealing with anxiety. Next thing is all around mindfulness, just like I said, being here in the present, really dialing into everything that's going around, whether it's your sense of hearing, your sense of smell, your sense of sight, just kind of being in awe in the present moment. Another big thing that they've studied closely to deal with anxiety is guided imagery. So picturing a very beautiful scene. For me, it's a waterfall. I like to close my eyes and just think about a waterfall, birds and animals that gather at the bottom of the waterfall to just relax, completely decompress. And it does. They study very closely. It helps a panic of level anxiety come and focus into a scene that is safe, calm, and helpful. And the last thing I want to go over is getting outdoors. You know, ideally you get out in nature. They've done study after study. People who spend more time in nature are always happier than those who live in a city crowded environment. You know, you got to dial back the years back to when we didn't have all these buildings, all this technology in our faces trying to drown us in the mechanisms that they have. Nature is where us animals were meant to be. So if you can get out in nature, especially when you feel like the anxiety is getting overwhelming, break that scene. Wherever you are, you need to change that environment. That environment is fueling that anxiety attack. So by getting outside, by even stepping away, if you live in a city and you don't have that nature in your backyard, just going for a walk, taking that energy that's kind of bubbling up and being toxic to you, rechanneling that. So guys, just going over this video once again, you know, we live in a world where anxiety is being provoked all the time. There's a healthy level of anxiety where it's very mild and it can be motivating and help us to dominate and get after our goals. And then there's an unhealthy level where it's panic, where we're sweating, we can't think, we're completely distracted by everything because we are overwhelmed. So the number one thing is to realize what is provoking this. This can be done through journaling, through talking to a friend, and then taking the principles of mindfulness, meditation, getting outdoors, and channeling that energy in a healthy way so that you can overcome it and learn from it, because anxiety is just a natural thing for us to all have. It's about managing it and keeping it in a healthy limit. So guys, thank you so much, and please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. If you guys have ideas on how to manage anxiety and ways that we can better target anxiety treatment, please let us know, because this field of medicine, of nursing, of treatment around anxiety continues to grow, and as it grows, we need people to get invested to further develop and help with the epidemic. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time, and until next time.